is here.
Check it out.
And you're locked on to Utah's highest rated, most listened to sports radio station.
It's my station. It's my station.
This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hey, welcome in. We're ready to go. Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Hope you're all having a great day.
Were we? Hello? Check.
Yeah.
We weren't.
It's hot.
Were we on air? Hopefully we weren't on it. Were we on air?
No.
Okay.
We're all good. I wait until Lloyd. I hear that go ahead from Lloyd. And up until then, everything's fair game.
I'll be happy to repeat it.
No, we're good. Probably good.
Well, yeah, you know who could get away with repeating it? Is our most coveted guest, Tyler Slade.
Of all time.
Here at Tim Daly Nissan. How you doing, Tyler?
It's so good to have you guys here. We had a little bit of an issue last month. You guys were out doing all your stuff that you do with football games, and we rescheduled today, but it's a great day to buy a car.
So good to see all these Nissans on the lots ready to go, and you probably still have some 25s you got to get rid of.
Yes, we do have some left, which means that those deals are definitely where you have the leverage, which I'm happy to give. We've got a lot of things we're going to talk about over the next few hours to tell you all the good things you can do to come by and save money.
Tyler, you've always got your thumb on the pulse of Cougar Nation.
Yeah.
How's Cougar Nation feeling? They just re-signed all their talent.
Okay,
so lost Jay.
Yes.
But then you got this basketball thing, TCU tonight, late night tip. How's Cougar Nation
I
feeling?
don't think there were very many in Cougar Nation that thought that losing Jay would mean that we'd pretty much save everybody.
Yeah.
Like, no one had that on their bingo card.
Nailed it.
Right? And
thought Jay would take at least 3 major talent.
And in my circle, the kudos goes to obviously Kalani, but here's why. Kalani used the Penn State offer to leverage what he needed to keep this team together. Yeah. And it's very clear that that's what's happened.
In terms
the resources.
of NIL.
If Penn State doesn't happen, this may not happen.
I don't think it does.
Yeah.
There's no way, actually.
Yeah.
I think this team is not – it doesn't look like this team without Penn State.
All right, so you watch a Michigan game next year. Are you one of the fans here of football in the state of Utah that will be actively rooting against Michigan, or you be rooting for Michigan?
This is really crazy, but I'm rooting for Kyle Whittingham.
I am too.
Seriously, and it's very strange for me to say that, but all of a sudden it was like a light switch. I'm like, you know what? I want him to go kick some butt at the other blue.
You want Kyle Whittingham and Michigan versus BYU in a national championship.
I would love that.
How crazy would that be?
But is there a better fit for Kyle than Michigan?
And especially where Michigan's at right now.
Right.
It's almost like, this is to a lesser degree, obviously, but Utah State and everything they're going for, when they hired Bronco, it's like, okay, that makes sense. With Kyle going to Michigan, it's like, yeah, that makes sense.
It does.
One of the gentlemen that left this state and went to Michigan with Kyle is one of my best friends on planet Earth. And got a call from him at 5 o'clock in the morning because he's working out and now he's in a different time zone and he thinks it's fun to call Hans. So Amanda's like, what's your phone doing? And why are you answering? It's like, I always answer this call. And I'll tell you, Tyler, life is pretty good for those guys in Michigan. Pretty darn good. And what was interesting as I'm kind of having this conversation with them is I was like, I bet you guys are kind of hurting because you didn't get some of that talent out of this state that you were hoping for. And he said, nope.
Yeah.
We're going to be just fine.
We're going to be just fine.
Yeah.
And he said, let me put it this way. I know college football way better than you. And I know you know it well. And he said, even I wasn't prepared for the level of talent that's at this level.
Yeah.
He said they're Greek gods everywhere. There's 4 and 5 star guys that we have at our disposal, that we have available. And he said, if we can't win with these guys, then we kind of probably need to move on. He's like, this is a lot of amazing talent.
I think for Kyle, everybody's thinking this is like the end of his career. But, I mean, Kyle's real age is probably a lot younger than his, his actual biological age. He's still got it.
Yeah.
And now he's got something to prove. And he now has all those resources and assets with those bodies. And he is a line of scrimmage guy. Like, that's been his MO the whole time, is dominate the line of scrimmage. He knew when BYU started to beat Utah, he would say in the postgame, we lost the line of scrimmage, we lost the game. And that's all he would ever say. We won the line of scrimmage, we won the game. That is Big Ten football at its finest.
How can you not win the line of scrimmage by taking over Michigan and having that at your disposal? The other thing is, and big thank you to the Instagram videos that circle. Those are great. Having a lot of fun with those. Got another call on that.
Oh, did you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, geez.
That said, hey, moron, don't worry about us trying to stomp into your territory and taking Utah talent. We'll be just fine. We don't need to stomp into Utah and take any Utah talent. And I was like, yeah, but you still know that there's a lot of good talent in Utah. They're like, okay.
We lose one, next 4-star up. Next 5-star up.
They're like, do you know how many states we have to pass to get to Utah, to convince a kid from the mountains to come to Michigan? He's like, your video's cute. And I understand that you're trying to stick up for the state. But, you know. So those videos are just the gift that keep on giving. I sure love them. It's just funny, man. It's
By the
funny.
way, you can follow the Zone Instagram account at KSL Sports.
It's just funny because those videos teach you a lot about yourself.
Oh, yeah.
You're like, okay. Because you get calls. I mean, Scotty got a call.
I got a very
calls.
terse text and phone call.
So, Tyler, Scotty and I have been doing radio collectively in this state for about 45 years.
Feels like it.
Feels like I've been with you the whole time.
If you compound our time, it's close to 45 years, probably 44 years-ish. And I've maybe received 3 to maybe 4 calls, a couple cease and desist here and there over the years. And the world of social media, it starts to rack up views. It never goes away. All the comments start to stir, and then everybody who's anybody gets a hold of it, and they're like, call him.
Set him right.
Call him. Tell him what he's doing, because this is
isn't it crazy?
He's lost. And it's like, you get a call, and you're like, oh, hello, Governor. Hello, Governor.
Hello.
That's Scotty's guy.
Yeah.
That is Scotty's guy.
And it's always, it's always funny because stop it. Because
I love how much you know us, Tyler.
I'll get a phone call and he's like, well, why didn't you say this and this? I'm like, I did. You just got like a 40-second clip of the whole thing. Like I did say that.
Yeah.
But
you didn't see it.
But that wasn't the fun part. The fun part was the part we clipped and sent out.
That other voice you're hearing is Tyler Slade.
Yes.
He is Scotty and I's most dear friend and one of our absolute favorite sponsors, Tim Daly Nissan in Southtown. Hey, your boy Will Snowden's coming down to talk football at 2.
Oh,
so
good.
He's going to be sitting in at 2.
So what are you guys hitting on today?
Maybe his son.
Yeah, maybe that might come up
That
a little
might
bit.
come up.
Yeah. So Will Snowden, the father of, he's on his way to Michigan.
The great Smith Snowden.
Smith Snowden will join us coming up today at 2:05, and he'll hang out, and we'll talk about it.
But we're also going to talk to Will about everything coaching circle. You know, he's very close with all these coaches. With Alpha Recruits that he's blowing into the stratosphere with it, he's done an amazing job.
What about a guy named Ainge? You got any Ainges on the show today?
Yeah, he's going to join us coming up in about 15 minutes from right now. And another good guy, Mike Sanford, is going to join us coming up.
Yeah,
one of our favorites.
Former collegiate head coach and another one of Scotty's guys.
No.
Well, let's just go and call the governor and get him on, too.
Scotty could.
You want me to text him? Hey, by the way.
Thanks, Tyler.
By the way, Tyler, before I let you go, I was talking to somebody who kind of helps with vehicles up in Logan. Mm-hmm. And I said, you may want to watch one of those vehicles. You might be in trouble.
Oh, yes. We can't talk about that, but if you know, you know.
You know. I thought you might like that.
I just clicked in my mind. Oh, that's going to be awesome. We'll talk about it another day.
Somebody's going to be in for a surprise.
Hey, really quick, too. How's Cougar baseball?
Cougar baseball is 4 weeks away.
Yeah, I know.
And they went out and spent some NIL money on some arms.
Nice.
Did they?
Yeah.
So they improved the mound.
Yeah, which was where their weakness was. So my brother is optimistic about competing at a higher level in the Big 12. This whole Kalani thing and Kevin Young and the basketball team is really given a lot of energy to all the sports because, everybody, if football wins, if basketball wins, everybody wins in the Olympic sports.
Everybody feels the effect, don't they?
Yeah, all of a sudden budgets go up.
Does your brother love coaching baseball?
He loves it.
He's good at it.
Hey, you know what? He's good on the radio, too.
Yeah.
He does a good job.
Yeah, he's learned to do that a little bit,
Yeah.
too. He's also a referee for basketball. He does a lot of the high school and JUCO basketball stuff right now.
You tell Coach Slade he's got a spot with us anytime he wants.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because nobody's more knowledgeable about baseball than these two guys.
Hey, if we ever get a Major League Baseball,
Hey, you figured out hockey.
we might have to steal him off the staff
for sure.
and get him on the air. But the hockey thing, the thing that had me laughing is the game that Jake went to. It's just, oh, that's the best. That's the best.
55-point loss.
Jake, poor Jake, Jazz fan extraordinaire. Oh,
Gets
no,
great seats.
Great seats.
He's talking about it all day. Shows up.
Yeah. And then, bam.
Cody Williams got him.
Hey, it came with free food, though.
Yeah, it did.
But
Yeah,
what's crazy?
we got him in the club.
What's crazy is the next game
They beat Cleveland.
they beat Cleveland. It was the most reversed. That's why the Jazz have insane talent.
Yeah.
It's about focusing it and getting it rolling.
All right, we're down here, Tim Daly, Nissan Southtown. You know it, you love it. We've been down here. It's a beautiful facility, crazy inventory, but when you walk in, you're like Norm from Cheers. They're going to treat you like family. They're going to look. Hans and I have bought a bunch of vehicles from Jake and the Tim Daly family throughout the years. I have no issue whatsoever saying you come here, you're going to be treated well. I even brought a vehicle in. It's getting serviced right now. Those guys were on it like nothing. It's great. These guys treat you like gold. It's Tim Daly, Nissan, Southtown, and we'll talk more about some of the crazy deals you got going on because Tyler's always got something up his sleeve.
Yep.
Let's go.
It's cooking up right now.
Hans and Scotty, let's kick it off. Starting lineup right now.
This is Hans and Scotty G.
Let's go.
The lineup is set, and it's time to kick off the show with the biggest topic of the day. This is the starting lineup on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
It is your starting lineup. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Hans Olsen, Scott Gerard. He will join us coming up at 2:05. Will Snowden, but another player that a little bit of a gut punch as Smith Snowden on his way to Michigan to play for the Wolverines.
Yeah, there's a couple shots, and I feel like that there was some great news yesterday with Devin Dampierre, and I feel like we really hammered that out of the park. But there are a couple of pieces, Smith Snowden and Salesi Moa, both in the portal headed to Michigan. Salesi was a Utah commit, and it's been announced that he's now headed to Michigan, and then Smith Snowden has been confirmed to Michigan. So a couple of losses, certainly for the University of Utah, but I get the sense that Utah isn't hanging their head over it. Now, those are big losses, for sure, but I get the feel that guys like Sharif Shah look at this as an opportunity to test their coaching ability and to test the cupboards a little bit of who they recruited. Yeah. I was having a conversation with a coach, and I thought it was fantastic. Because every time I talk to a coach, I am reminded how little I know and how much I assume. And so I'm talking to a coach about losing talent, and he said, we put so much time into recruiting guys that we never even get to see. And he said that the public doesn't see this. We'll recruit 8 guys. We'll bring them out of the portal. We'll bring them out of high school. We recruit a ton of guys. And there are 3 or 4 we never even get to see that don't even hit the 3 deep. They just kind of stay on the back of the radar, and they wonder why they're not getting the play time. They wonder why they're not getting looked at by the coach. They wonder. And sometimes those are the diamonds because they've waited, they're hungry, they want the opportunity. A guy leaves, that guy grows into the spot. And I was like, Look, I've been the guy that's under the radar. I've been the guy in the NFL that's waiting for the chance. I totally understood what he was saying to me. Like, it provides an opportunity. And what it does is it shows what a coach has been up to. That's why, like, when a quarterback's coach does not have a number two, when the number two comes in, throws a pick, stalls out 2 drives, loses the game because of a twisted ankle on number one, I don't look at the quarterback and say, that guy's a bum. I look at the quarterback's coach. Who's responsible for having a number two prepared?
Yeah.
And why did that guy just come in? He couldn't make a single read off of an easy middle linebacker drop. He threw it into a dig. He knew that dig was going to be covered over the top by the nickel, bracketed by the linebacker on an under zone, and he throws it right into the linebacker. Who's responsible for that? Why can't he read the simple mid linebacker zone? What? Okay, it got tipped. Well, okay, who recruited a 5'11 quarterback that throws a freaking sidearm? Who did that? Show me that guy. He's at fault.
And not saying that it's all on him, but I think that's why there was a movement on Andy Ludwig, because Cam Rising went down, couldn't play, and there wasn't a solidified backfield ready to go. You went with a true freshman, and he wasn't ready yet.
It was a rough look, Scotty.
Yeah.
And as much as I really like and respect Andy
100%.
Ludwig, and I've got all my numbers here, because every time Andy Ludwig comes under attack, I keep these numbers handy so that I can remind people what Andy Ludwig did in his Pac-12 runs with Cam Rising. And those Pac-12 runs are really what put Utah on the map. You got to remember, they beat Oregon 38-10 in 2021. They beat USC 47-24 in 2022. They finished with a 10-3 record and a 9-3 record. They went 5-1 versus USC and Oregon in 21 and 22. That's Andy Ludwig.
Yeah.
So anybody that attacks Andy Ludwig, I always got my numbers ready. I've got my numbers with Cam Rising ready. He had 705 attempts. He completed 453, 65% completion, goes 5,527 yards in the 2 runs to the Pac-12 championship. That's Andy Ludwig. Now, a lot of that's Cam Rising, but that was Andy Ludwig. But that emphasizes the point you just made.
You got to have that quarterback ready to go.
Why did you not?
Yeah.
And what's your excuse? Well, my excuse is I won 2 Pac-12 championships, and I built Cam Rising. Yeah, but your job is to have something ready so we don't waste 2 years of our coaching lives, and we don't waste 2 years of our offensive line eligibility. And that's what's happening here. So we got to make the change. And I think Kevin McGivern has a pretty good grasp on that.
Oh, I do too. Absolutely.
Speaking of number twos, did you see the news that was announced yesterday?
About
Trayson Bourget.
Yes.
Announced he's coming back to BYU. And I was just talking about Trayson Bourget yesterday. And I'm saying, well, what's the news on Trayson? Because you need to have a valid number two. Trayson could be that immediate number two. And now having a solid number one and an immediate number two with upside and coming into the final year, now you've got some leeway. Now you can roll the dice a little bit, see if you can find a needle in a haystack with some talent out of the transfer portal and bring him in and raise him up. I do like, and this is not the case, I don't think, with BYU, I do like when you're headed into spring ball and you know who the number one guy is. It's cut pretty clear. But the number two guy, everybody's like buzzing. Like, oh, man, let's see what happens in spring. Could this guy overtake him? Okay, you come out of spring, and it's still Bachmeier number one and so-and-so number two. Now you're going into fall camp, but it got close, and number two took some number one reps. Now you're going into fall camp, and number one is being pressed hard by number two. That's my favorite thing. I don't think that will be the case, but I don't know how much Bear Bachmeier needs that as motivation to grow.
Yeah, probably not at this point.
Sometimes kids are built in, have an intrinsic model of motivation.
And maybe the whole offseason, spring, offseason, and into fall, knowing you're the guy, maybe the elements of development at that point of leadership, getting guys together for workouts, all that other stuff that goes along with it. That'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah, maybe that adds some cachet.
Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Take a break, come back, and we will get you squared away with, I tell you what, Danny Ainge joins us next right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Number one. Miss any part of the show? Every moment of every show is available in podcast form by searching Hans and Scotty on your favorite podcasting platform or online at KSLSports.com. This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hans Olsen, Scott Gerard, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. The great Danny Ainge is going to join us here in a moment. We have a little bit of breaking news here, Hans. The 2026 College Football Hall of Fame class has been announced. You've got guys like Kajana Carter, remember him, running back for Penn State. Aaron Donald, University of Pittsburgh defensive tackle, old teammate of yours, Marvin Harrison.
Yeah, that's great.
Now in the College Football Hall of Fame. Herman Moore, remember him? He was a quarterback at Virginia. He and Ty Detmer were playing about the same time. Ndamukong Suh from Nebraska. Peter Warrick from Florida State. And also from the University of Utah, Eric Weddle, named to the College Football Hall of Fame.
Man, a lot of good things coming his way.
Also, coaches that you're kind of used to as well. Gary Patterson, head coach at TCU for all those years in the Mountain West and transferred into the Big 12. And then Chris Peterson from Boise State and Washington, also named to the College Football Hall of Fame.
How amazing would it be to be in a College Sport Hall of Fame? I think that's incredible.
Yeah.
I got to imagine our next guest is in one.
I would imagine, yes.
I would have to imagine. But great for Eric Weddle, and the accolades are going to keep coming for Eric. And I don't know what we need to do to keep the ball rolling to make sure that the NFL Hall of Fame has him solidly in consideration. But some things go well beyond numbers. You know, when you talk about Eric coming back out of retirement, jumping on with the C on his jersey and taking a team to a Super Bowl as a captain out of retirement.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
You have to attach that to Eric Weddle's legacy, but congratulations to him being announced for the College Football Hall of Fame.
With that, let's get to our next guest, Danny Ainge.
It's time to talk Jazz basketball with the CEO of the Utah Jazz and NBA legend, Danny Ainge, with Hans Olsen and Scotty G on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, joining us now, it is Danny Ainge right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Danny, how are you?
Hey, Danny.
How we doing, gentlemen?
Fantastic.
You know, the roller coaster that you go on sometimes is crazy. You have a really difficult, tough loss to Charlotte, and then you turn around and beat Cleveland. And I think all of us are like, wow, the whiplash of that is really something else.
Yeah, I mean, I've lived this world for a long time, many years, and sometimes have been involved in a 40-point win and have a back-to-back with the same team and lose by 40. I mean, the NBA is crazy that way, and this year probably more than any other year. But, yeah, that loss was tough, and that win was good, fun.
I think that's very well put. I think it's as well put as it could be. So, you know, when you look at it, Danny, the loss to Charlotte, the difficult loss to Charlotte, and then rebounding a night later and getting that win against Cleveland. What is it, in your opinion, and not this game in particular, but what is it sometimes that does change on that 40-point turnaround that you're talking about?
I think that some of it is just a resolve. I mean, when you play a lot of games, sometimes the team resolve isn't there, but also the momentum. I mean, Charlotte was making every shot. We were missing lay-ins. I mean, it was just one of those things that the pressure mounted while, like, usually when you get it behind, the pressure is relieved and you can fight back and you play a little bit less stress-free when you're down 20 or something in a game, and that happens all the time in our league. But sometimes the pressure just keeps mounting because like 3 or 4 guys just can't make a shot, and then they're pressing, and the whole team's pressing, and it's just that was a bad one.
So you rebound very quickly, and you get that win against Cleveland. How hard is it as a player, or is it pretty easy as a player just to say, okay, that's behind us, time to move on, and not let those losses, because Jerry Sloan used to say you can't play backwards. How hard is that as a player to just move on and say, okay, that happened, now let's go and get a big win in Cleveland?
I think you get used to it in the NBA just because you play so many games, and sometimes it's the next day, and it's usually at least a day later, 2 days in between game or 1 day in between games, and so you just know, like you can't get overexcited on a win, and you can't get too upset on a loss, and you just got to go earn your money and earn your job the next day. Someone will take it from you.
So, Danny, you're at 39 games, a couple of games away from the halfway point. And by the way, in the middle of this 5-game road trip that I'm sure is tough for these guys, but a couple of games away from the halfway point. Do you evaluate your team, your roster, more at the halfway point, or do you spend more time in evaluation at the trade deadline? In your position with your mind and your vision and your responsibilities, where do you really pour your evaluation into this team and some of the hard decisions and heavy and big decisions you're going to have to make?
Just the evaluation right now is just on the progress of our players. Like one guy as an example that I feel like has really progressed this year is Walt. Just because he kind of, he's coming from a national championship team. He's been the leader of that team and directed them to a title as high as you can get in college. And, he wasn't in that role. He didn't have the ball as much, wasn't the lead guard, had to play with really good players. And it was just a completely different thing. And, early in the year, I thought he was just thinking way too much, and now he's starting to progress. He's like overcome some mental hurdles, and he's back in it, back in the game, and he's had some really good ones.
What do we got to do to get Lauri Markkanen into an all-star game, because he's having that kind of a season?
Yeah, the all-star games are tough. Like, it's not always about who deserves to be there, unfortunately. It's there's certain names that are going to get there, and either get most likely Doncic and Steph Curry and Devin Booker and Anthony Edwards and Jamal Murray. Like, those guys are tough to overcome. Jokic, those guys are like all and then Wembanyama with the attention that he's gotten. I think that there's about 9 or 10 guys that are just like locks. Automatics. And so sometimes you got to do it 2 years in a row. Now Lauri was in the All-Star game 2 years ago, so that might help. Keontae's developing a great reputation and a great name around the league, but I have no idea where. It just feels unlikely, but they're playing like All-Stars, and that's the most important thing.
Yeah, I think the league is in an interesting point, and Scotty and I were talking about the TV numbers. What was the jump, Scotty? Was it 18%?
Yeah, 11, 12% in some areas. Yeah.
It's a nice jump on viewership and interest in the game, which is awesome. Which, when you're at the back end of a LeBron James career and a Steph Curry maybe career, and you've lost some of the greats, I think it's amazing that you can hold TV numbers and continue to see them grow. But we're in a really interesting point where players are demanding trades and teams are putting players up and players with big name rights. When you see stuff like Trae Young or, you're seeing stuff with Memphis, how much do your ears go up and how much do you dig? Do you start into contacts of, oh, well, this guy's he's pressing the panic button and maybe there's some trouble and maybe I can just kind of see what's going on. How do you work that, Danny, where there's so much noise and players pushing their weight around, or teams that are looking at contracts and saying this player needs to go. How do you manage that with other teams in the league?
Well, we always pay attention to top name players, and we follow. We usually find out well before, like, it comes out that player makes a public statement or a team is, looking to shop. We pretty much know that for well before, some cases year before that hit this rate. So there's been a lot of evaluation on all the players, but there's a lot that come into concern: the age, the health, contract. How do you build around them? How do you, build around the special player? How do they fit with the current players that you have and that you want to keep? There's just a lot of factors that go into all of that. But that evaluation is nonstop in our league.
Do you feel like you've got the handle on most things that go down, or are there still some trades that you'll see pop up on Twitter or something, or on SportsCenter? You're like, whoa, I didn't see that coming. Do you usually know in advance when things are about to go and how it's going to play out?
Yeah, the Luka Doncic one was one that we didn't, but I think that pretty much most of them we do.
Yeah, the Luka Doncic caught all of us.
I think it caught all of us a little bit by surprise on that one.
I just remember.
Yeah, it's almost like one side or the other didn't, or both sides didn't want anybody to know, and they have a relationship, but they don't want it to get out, because it could get blown up. Someone calls with a better offer, or someone gets public, and then it falls through, which happens way too often when there are conversations, but they fall through for one reason or another. But that was obviously a very interesting one.
Certainly no names. You don't have to share any names or anything, nor am I asking you to. But have there been executives, or maybe even current executives, that you almost don't want to deal with because you can't trust them to keep quiet in a negotiation?
Oh yeah, over the years, that definitely is the case. Ultimately, you still get to the point where you have to have a conversation if you want to get the best deals. But some that you have to emphasize to keep this quiet and not talk. But there are some people that have media people on their speed dials, and maybe for security, they're constantly talking to the media.
Danny, I wanted to get a thought from you on Alex Jensen. I know you know Alex really well, and he's trying to build a product. What are some of Alex's best attributes as a coach? Because Scotty and I are big fans of his, and we know he was close in conversations for coaching positions in the NBA. And I'm just hoping that there's patience, and then there's all kinds of revenue given to him so he can build what he needs to build. But what makes Alex Jensen great?
I like his demeanor. I like just how emotionally stable he is. And he's also very smart and experienced. There was a time when Alex was like a hot commodity, for the NBA when he was coming out of the G League. And I'm a big fan as a person and as a coach. I just think he's got a lot of great qualities in coaching, and I think he's going to do fine. If we could just be a little bit patient, he's going to be fine. I think he'll do a wonderful job.
So the other night, Neemias Queta had a 20-rebound night, and I remember watching you. Your son was on that Utah State team that had Sam Merrill and Nemi, and it was really a fun team to watch, Abel Porter and that crew. When you saw Nemi back in the day, did you feel like, hey, this guy could play at the next level?
Yeah, no doubt. I thought Nemi was a wonderful young player. Then he had an ACL injury, and that kind of set him back a little bit, but he had some really good hands and talent and touch, and he had a lot of really good qualities. And then, after his injury and then his draft class, then I saw him play in the G League, And I thought he was the best big guy in the G League, that year. He was very hardworking and looked like he had fully recovered. And Boston's got themselves a pretty good center that's having a good year for them.
Okay, Danny, I need a moment of real truth. And I'm not talking about, second ball on the ground, Danny. I'm talking about first ball on the tee, Danny Ainge. How many hole-in-ones have you hit in your life?
One.
Have you talked to Ryan about his?
Ryan has 3. Yesterday was his 3rd.
Oh my gosh. Right, and what's crazy about Ryan is, of course, he's going to have a couple of Hollywood actors and cameras on him when he hits his. I'm going to get my first, and there's going to be a crow that caws over the top of me, and it's going to be on some dirt track in Vegas.
And it's going to be on a Sunday afternoon, and you can't tell anybody. Can't say that you were golfing on a Sunday.
I can't even tell my Elders Quorum advisor that I was on a Vegas course on Sunday. It's going to come at the worst time for me, Danny.
Well, when you get one, it's okay. You know that you got one. Good.
Yeah, it's just me.
No matter how many people, no matter how many people know that you got one. I mean, Ryan's son got one during the holidays. They were on vacation in Cabo, and he got one, and he's 12. No, I'm 13 now. So, they happen. You don't have to be the best golfers to get a hole-in-one, and Ryan just got really, really lucky.
Does Austin have one?
I don't know. Yes. I think Austin does have one. Yeah, at least one.
Do you remember the course, the hole, what club you were hitting on yours?
Yeah, mine was like 130-yard, and I hit wedge, and I hit past the hole, spun back in. Yeah, it was fun. It was in Scottsdale at the National.
Oh, that's a beautiful thing. Man, someday, for me, it's going to be Mulligan's.
Or Mick Riley.
It's going to be a 78-yard, 60-degree spin back.
With a 7-iron.
Bounced off the hill.
Off a tree.
Well, Danny, we love it. Tell Ryan congratulations from us. The video had us all laughing. It was funny. He throws the club and throws the hands up in the air. You never know how you're going to react, but I do have a celebration ready when that time comes.
Yeah, it was a one-hopper. It was just hopped once and went in the hole. It
on a great course.
It was fun to see. On that little hole downhill. It was good. And Michael Pena, we were celebrating Michael Pena's 50th birthday.
Oh, okay.
So
Heck of an actor. Heck of an actor.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey, Danny, have you got the NHL fever? Have you got this ice hockey fever?
Yeah, I have. I don't have a chance because I'm so into the NBA and the college and G League seasons. It's hard to watch full games, but if I'm not watching a game, I am paying attention to the score. So yeah, it's been fun.
I always wondered if
Great
the NBA
last night.
I always wondered if the NBA allowed a McBain-like situation from the other night where McBain set square some debt on a player that may have been a part of a bad situation.
Yeah, and try to take care of business on his own.
That is not. That's a 5-game suspension at least.
Yeah.
Anything even close.
An immediate ejection from both players and a 5-game suspension. So, yeah, that doesn't work in the NBA.
Danny, we appreciate your time as always.
All right,
Thanks.
and by the way, that Eric story is really cool. I love that.
Oh, yeah.
When he went to the Super Bowl. That was amazing. What a great
Eric Weddle, yeah.
story.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And we were just talking about that. Very deserving of the College Football Hall of Fame, but he's an NFL Hall of Fame.
Yeah, we got to get
nominee.
We got to get a gold jacket on him before it's all said and done.
Well, I don't really remember all the great things that he's done in his career like I should, but I'm sure he had a great career, but that was amazing story. Fun to follow.
He's a good man, just like you. Thanks, Danny.
You're the best, Danny. Thank you.
All right, guys. See ya.
There he
brother.
is. Danny Ainge right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
1 hole in 1 for Danny. Sorry
Yes.
about my voice. I don't know what happened.
You want to make it right. I get it.
Puberty.
Yeah.
We got emotional.
Tyler hits me with the puberty. Oh, man. Was it one of the Bradys? Which one? Which
Peter
one
Brady.
Was it Peter?
When it's time to change.
Whether I was emotional or hitting puberty, man, what a terrible time for.
The kids these days don't
Something
get that
hit them.
reference anymore.
Yeah, but Tyler, you do. I mean, that's our era, right? But great stuff by Danny. And, you always wondered, because you saw the John Morant thing.
Yeah.
We all see the Trae Young thing. And Danny's sitting on a treasure trove. He's got some really big assets. And now he's got guys like Keontae George that are catching eye and Lauri Markkanen. And I've always wondered, you're looking at a guy that he's either been a top 5 NBA scorer or is currently a top 5 NBA scorer, or at least he's a top 8 and you project him to be top 5 if I give him the right coach.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he's disgruntled, or all of a sudden his current team feels like his contract and his attitude and his winning percentage is all not where it needs to be. And I can't help but think, if I'm Danny Ainge,
Oh, that's what they're waiting on.
do I go and I'm like, okay, I know that he's flashed a couple of gun signs and I know he's had some problems, but if I get him here with the Utah Jazz, and let's say I can keep Lauri Markkanen and I can keep Walker Kessler, and Kessler comes back healthy, and maybe I lose a Keontae George, but I add a John Morant. Could I not
Ja's not going to be the guy.
not reform?
Yeah.
But-
I mean, if it's a guy like Ja, yes. Ja Morant specifically, no.
Not the guy. Okay, Trae
Yeah.
Young.
No. No, this was one of those where we saw Luka kind of getting a little salty with Dallas and thinking, okay, that's the guy you go all in for. And there's going to be a handful of those guys that pop up. But the thing is, you don't want to pull the trigger too
Which
soon.
makes the Luka thing even more ludicrous.
Oh, I know.
Because hearing it come from Danny Ainge
He was surprised.
adds a different layer of ick to me.
Yeah.
I can't believe that deal was done in dark.
Yeah. Hey, Tyler's going to hang out with us coming up on the other side. We're live here at Tim Daly Nissan Southtown, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
You're locked on to Hans Olsen and Scotty Chin. That's right. Yeah! On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Hope you're all well. Mike Sanford's going to join us coming up here in just a moment. Fired up to chat with him.
The great.
Mike Sanford.
He's jumped out of coaching and into media.
And he's done a phenomenal job.
He's already overtaken Scotty and I in listens, viewership, and likes. I don't know how he's done it in such a short period.
Well, when Mike Sanford says, I'm going to take control of the sports media, especially in the Denver market, I'm going to do that. And that's just what he's done.
I love it.
He joins us now. Mike Sanford, how are you, sir?
Hey, Mike.
How are we doing, gentlemen? It's good to hear your voices.
It's good to hear yours. I'm still inclined to call you Coach. I mean, can I just keep calling you Coach? Is that okay with you, or?
Well, I mean, I don't know if it's an earned moniker or not, but that's about the only that's about all I'm known as in these parts in Denver. So, because I think I am the only active coach at Altitude Sports Radio, and yeah, so I go by Coach, man, or Coacher. You can call me whatever you want, man. You can call me Jerk. It doesn't matter.
Hey, by the way, this man calls himself a heck of a football game, too.
Yeah, he does.
We're down at the Arizona Bowl, and it's like, oh, my gosh, it felt like you've been doing this for like 10 years, for crying out loud. You nailed it.
You love doing it?
I had so much fun. That was it was weird. So because I was actually coaching a high school football season this year, I got fewer reps doing color commentary this year. I did one high school game of the week. Actually ended up being the team that we played in the quarterfinals in the state championship or the state playoffs. But it was the only game I did. And so I was a little nervous. So I'll be honest. And Scotty's really good, man. I know, you and Hans, you and Scotty have worked together on bowl games in the past. he makes it really easy to work. And I've worked with a multitude of different types of personalities. So I had so much fun insofar as that I want to continue to do it somehow. The only way I think I could do it would be Sundays. So that's probably a tall task to get that job here in Denver with Dave Logan, one of the greatest to ever do it, and also the state championship head coach for the Cherry Creek High School Bruins that beat us in the semifinals. So maybe I'll make a deal with him next year. Is if I beat him in the state championship game, he can give me his Broncos Sunday gig.
I'm just curious about your contract with Estridge in Bowl Season Radio. Do you pay him $800 like I do? So I pay him. I pay him $800.
I was at $1,000 this year. Yeah.
I pay Estridge $800 to be on the broadcast. Are you paying more or less?
Yeah, it makes sense. Like it's starting to mass because he paid me $1,800, so Scotty's $1,000.
Oh, there you go.
$800. Yeah, so it's a pretty good gig.
It's all
it's not
making
bad
sense.
for just a mere 2 or 3 hours of work. Not bad at all.
I'm so glad we could pay your salary. That's great.
This college football landscape, man, you probably, I mean, I'm sure you miss the coaching, you miss the practice, you certainly miss game days, but this time of year when you're recruiting and transfer portal and guys looking for a payday, you can't miss that at all.
I don't. What's really been strange is January used to be such a big time to go recruiting high school football programs across the country. For me, as a guy that would be a recruiting coordinator, a quarterback coach, it has been a ghost town here at Valor Christian High School. And we have one of the top offensive tackles in America. Reese Russell is going to be a senior next year. And we have, I think, one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the sophomore class going to be a junior next year. And Titus Heward, son of Brock Heward, former UW great and Seahawk, and also in our space, in the broadcast space. But we have had nobody here. And it's because they're all just completely inundated with this world of the transfer portal. I've had some unique conversations. Yesterday I was talking to a former quarterback of mine that I'd recruited and had some interactions with over the last couple of years, just tracking his college playing career. And it was really interesting. He has 0 opportunities at any level that are offered via the portal and or NIL to be a starting quarterback. So I'm like, okay, so basically there's no value there. He goes, no, actually, I just got offered $250,000 to be the 3rd string quarterback at LSU. And I'm like, what are we doing? When I first heard about NIL, I thought that like starters would be making in that capacity. I was a 3rd string quarterback at Boise State. I should have paid them $250,000 to have me on their roster, to be honest. It's wild to think that there's that kind of money, even for backups. And what I think changed it all is I think a lot of people got the NIL piece wrong, and they all thought I need to pay 1, 2, or 3 big time players $7 million combined or $10 million combined. What Indiana University did, Kurt Signetti, is he went out and got like 70, 80 players that had been starters at FCS, at Group of 5, at lower levels of the Power 4, even some Division II players, but it still costs money. He just spread it out over a lot more players, and I think that's the new trend now is copycat league. Let's make sure we go the Indiana route and have a really well rostered team from a depth standpoint.
I know this would be a per team situation, Coach, but I look at NIL in comparison to coach salary and coach retention. Where are universities paying more attention right now? Is it coach salary and coach retention, or is it NIL?
It's got to be NIL. I mean, players, the famous Gary Anderson quote, right? Players make plays, players win games, right? And it's true. It is true that now that you're getting into space now, the rev share model, which is a complete farce. Anybody who thinks that there was going to be a salary cap in college football and we were going to even the playing field, it's a joke. And people are pointing to IU being in a national championship as the fact that, that's proof of concept that the salary cap brought everybody back to square one. What nobody understands is how much backdoor money is still happening at places like Indiana. They're just the NCAA waved the white flag of surrender. for any form of punishment for basically anything. And so people are doing it front door, back door, side door, out, no door. It doesn't matter. And so that's where the money is coming from so many different sources. Some kids just want cash. They don't want to go the traditional model. And so it's a mess. It's an absolute mess. But the only way that you can survive right now is to completely and utterly adopt the mess and the madness and find a way to fund your roster as much as you possibly can. And that's why I think coaching salaries are going to end up taking a big hit. They have to. It's going to happen in the next 5 to 10 years where coaches are going to be probably paid less than their star player. And we're not too far from that being a reality.
Is it, and Hans mentioned this the other day, is it the high school kids that are taking the brunt of this in recruiting?
Yes. I just had some interesting conversations with a couple of the senior players that I coached this year at Valor Christian, some really good high school football players. They're like in a normal model. Like I'd say that kid's probably a CSU scholarship player, or that kid's, could play at Weber State, right? Those kids right now aren't even getting a sniff from those schools. And you know what's funny is I tell them, you don't want to go to CSU right now. You don't want to go to even CU right now, unless you're a high priority, high NIL, high valuation player that's going to have a chance to get film. So I think there's right now over 11,000 players that are currently stuck in the transfer portal with no home. Those players are comprised of a lot of guys that went to a school that looked like a dream logo for them to go to, the traditional model. Like, I got a scholarship to the University of Utah, baby. I'm rolling. Well, if you didn't get any practice film, or if you didn't play in games in your first 2 years, you're going to get kicked to the curb. They're going to tell you to go in the portal. And then guess who wants you? Nobody. They'd rather take the D2 kid that has really good film, really good college film, because that's how Indiana built it. They built it with 50, 60, 70 guys on their roster that had legitimate college football film, and that's where the premiums play. So if anybody's listening to this right now, and your son or daughter in other sports, but especially in football, your son's got the opportunity to be a D2 player or just keep holding out hope to be a Division I player, guess what? You're going to be a D1 player on signing day, and a year later, you're going to be in the portal without a home because you have no film.
Does JUCO count in there, or is it more a D2 or
JUCO? Absolutely. JUCO's you want to talk about junior colleges, D2s, NAIA programs, man, they're benefiting crazily from this insane world that we're living in. They're getting some ballers there, man. There's some creatures walking around, some JUCOs and some Division II programs right now. That's my advice to people. Go to a place that loves you, wants you to play, and find a way to get film. That's it.
Mike Sanford joining us right here on 97.5, the KSL. I don't feel great about this Buffalo matchup for the Broncos. Where are you at on this?
I feel good. Scotty, I know you big Broncos supporter yourself.
All right.
Here's why I like it. Did you see the injury reports for the two yesterday that came out? One looked like the Declaration of Independence, and the other one looked like a quick Cliff's note about the game. The Broncos are healthy. They're coming off of a nice 13-day layoff in a season where they won a lot of really close football games. The way I see this playing out is if the Broncos can win the turnover margin and they can match red zone scoring production of Josh Allen. Josh Allen has 16 touchdowns rushing in the red zone this year. Obviously, a lot of them are on the kind of the Josh Allen version of the tush push or the quarterback sneak. But if the Broncos can match those two metrics, I think they win this football game. I think it's going to be close because that's the only thing the Broncos know how to do. Frankly, the Bills are kind of in that same space as well. But the other piece of the puzzle is James Cook last year, 23 carries, 120 yards against the Broncos in Buffalo in the wild card round. The Broncos have to shore up their structure defensively to make Josh Allen beat you as a thrower. And if that's the case, I think you win the game.
All right, Coach, let's say Kyle Whittingham stays in Michigan for 3 years. Does he make it to a national championship?
Ooh, that's a good question. I'm just going to answer very honestly and candidly. No, I don't think so. I think that there are certain fits at certain programs. Kyle Whittingham was the absolute perfect fit at the University of Utah. Can't find a better one. And I don't think everybody's a perfect fit at every program. That is a great football coach. It has to do with your recruiting pipeline. It has to do with like the culture and ethos of the place that you're coaching at. I don't think he's going to be a bust by any stretch of the imagination, but national championship, Michigan has won how many of those in the last 25 years? That's a pretty tall standard. I know they did it recently, but that place is, it's in a world of hurt, A, and B, I think you got to really, really hone in on building your roster with players that are generally speaking from the Midwest and the Eastern Seaboard, and that's going to be just a little bit of an outside of the element for Kyle and the staff that he's put together.
So you talked about Curt Cignetti. Is that something he really keyed in on? I know you were talking about how he built it and where he went to get his players, but is that something that was a really good fit for him where Indiana's exploded?
Yeah, I think it's a good niche program. The other thing that's kind of fun about Indiana for Curt Cignetti is he had a chance to kind of lay in the weeds, and nobody really had a microscope on him, right? So how he was building it, what he was doing, it just happened quickly. I think his superpower, when you watch him on game day, watch Curt Cignetti closely. I mean, everybody jokes about that. He looks like a serial killer with no expression, no matter what's happening, good or bad. He doesn't do anything during the games. Have you watched that? Like, he doesn't talk. He's not calling plays. You know what he is? He's the evaluator. He is the guy that has put the roster together, hand in hand with, I'm sure, his general manager or director of player personnel. But yeah, he has a gift of evaluating I'd say the breadth, the width of a roster as opposed to just the top end of a roster. And I think that's where some people have gone wrong. They spent too much of their investment again on the top end. Frankly, I think BYU did a good job. I think they had a really good wide roster. They didn't just have one or two superstars and then just a bunch of average players. I think they were pretty good just about everywhere. And I think Curt Cignetti is making that the model. Now, the thing about it, everybody could go out and be great evaluators. What Curt Cignetti has that people don't want to admit in the college football landscape, he's got money. Somehow, some way. I don't know how. It doesn't add up. I don't know why their basketball program stinks and their football program's awesome. I don't know why Nebraska's football program stinks and their basketball program is awesome. Somehow, some way, these programs are finding, I call it backdoor money, because it's outside of the general rev share dollar. And Indiana's got it because there's no way you could pay 50, 60, 70 players what they're paying just to get in the door with them. So that's it still comes down to money. And I know everybody wants to make it all about, Curt Cignetti's a genius, and maybe he is, but he also funded it as a genius. And typically you are a smarter coach when you have better players. Better players want more money, and that's what Indiana has.
So BYU, as you mentioned, Kalani Sitake, not a jerk, by the way, is
good guy.
We had a that's a little inside joke between me and Mike from our evaluation of a lot of coaches out there.
Oh yeah.
But Mike's got a really good theory on what makes a good coach. It's the jerk. What is it? The jerk quotient, we'll call it. The bigger the jerk, the more likely success that you're going to have. I think it adds up. Mario Cristobal, jerk. Curt Cignetti, jerk. Both in the national championship game 5 days from now, right?
Wow, it does play out.
Yeah, and so here you got Kalani Sitake, not a jerk, but still winning games and being able to keep the guys. Now, obviously, financially, that means BYU's got to spend a lot of money. However, also, there's something about the culture that he's building there where guys are like, okay, I can go make equal money maybe somewhere else, but I want to stay here and be part of this. What do you think he's building there that's attractive to these guys?
Well, I mean, BYU is one of those programs, and my brother-in-law just recently left BYU as one of the quarterback coaches. He's now at Colorado State University here with Jim Mora. He just said, BYU is one of those places that it's almost a utopian environment. And I know, like, I don't say that from a perspective of, the church based school and all that, but because of some of the natural selection process of going to BYU, kind of like me coaching at Valor Christian. Similarly, I don't deal with a lot of the headaches because there's a self-selection process of kids that go to a school like this or that go to a school like BYU, that you're able to stay focused on football, and the football's fun. And that's what you see when you watch a BYU team play with Kalani. And I think this is historical. I think it's not just new. I think about some of those really good teams back when Bronco Mendenhall was the head coach, and even some of Crow's better years. Like, that's a team that looked like they were having a blast playing football. And because you don't have to worry as a coach or even as a team about so many of the other cultural problems that plague so many of these universities. If I had a dollar for every time that I did bed check at certain non-BYU, non-Boise State, non-Valor Christian schools, that I've done a bed check and I'm walking through the hotel and all I smell is the state flower of Colorado. You guys kind of catch what I'm putting down right there. That on game day.
Oh yeah, I'm with you.
On game day. I'm talking about players that you are entrusting your livelihood, or me with my 3 children, on game day, and I'm saying, like, okay, all right, our starting receiver and our interior defensive lineman, well, they're going to play high today, so that's how it goes, I guess. It's different, and I think there's something about the purity of the game of football and the kind of kids that young men that you have at a place like BYU that help you find success.
Coach, last thing for me, I've treated Miami like the Dread Pirate Roberts treated Wesley, where it was, you'll live, but I'll kill you tomorrow. You'll live today, but then I'm going to kill you tomorrow. And I've treated Miami like that. No, they're done. No, they're going to lose. No, they're dead. They're out. And Miami just continues to thrive and survive. They make it to the championship game against Indiana. Kicks off on Monday. Are we going to have any kind of a game, or is this just going to be a blowout snoozer?
I'm calling a game, and here's why. Just like I talked about the strategy that I've kind of noticed from Signetti about getting a really good, wide, deep football team. Mario Cristobal, former offensive lineman, former offensive line coach, even when he's been the air quotes offensive coordinator for programs, he's always really been the O-line coach and run game guy. He spent his money. His model is, let's have the best trenches in college football. Let's invest in our offensive line, our defensive line, our front 7, including linebackers. They're built really well in the trenches. And I think that has kept them in every single contest. And, man, Carson Beck, a guy that I didn't like a year ago, I thought he was a total bust. He's playing great ball. He's doing what is required of him to win games when it comes down to it, and he's an experienced player. So I think I actually think we're going to see good contests. I think the spread is at 7.5 right now. I think it's going to be inside of that, and it wouldn't surprise me if this game goes the direction of Miami. I think that they have done such a good job of not only evaluating and investing in their trenches, but they've also coached them really well. And nothing that I thought I would say necessarily maybe, 7-8 years ago about Mario Cristobal, but he's outcoached. His staff has outcoached some teams too this year. But it is easier to outcoach teams when you have really good big fellas up front on both sides of the ball.
Hey, we can't thank you enough. Thanks for hanging out with us, and had a blast with you in Arizona. We got to do that again sometime. Just an absolute joy hanging out with you and Tim and the rest of the crew there. It was an absolute thrill to be able to call that game, and let's get you back on the air here real soon.
Hey, I appreciate you guys. You guys have an awesome rest of your week, and another great weekend of football coming up.
You're the best, Coach. Thank you.
Mike Sanford right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Altitude Sports Radio in Denver. Does a heck of a job.
We're not getting a game. I know I keep saying Miami's done. Miami's done.
You know what you're doing is guaranteeing that we have a game. Because, and Tyler, here's the thing. Hans, when he predicts games, I'd say he's probably batting about 994, 940 is about. Like dude's
good.
forgotten more about football than we. And every game Miami has played, he's like, they're dead, they're done, and they keep winning.
And they just keep winning.
And for whatever reason, Miami is your kryptonite.
I don't know what it is, but I'm underrating their defensive front.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
It's time to saddle up and talk about the winners and the losers. This is the good, the bad, and the ugly. Now, here's the good.
As he pedals up the left flank, he shoots and scores! Dylan Gunther fires a frozen row, almost too good to believe. Nobody knew it was in and out just like that. And Dylan Gunther has his team-leading 22nd goal of the year. Sergachev diagonally, Paterka towards the net, tapped on goal, Boots scores! Oh, these boots are made for walking. Break out the Nancy Sinatra. It's his third NHL goal.
Yes. I love it. You got to love it.
Yeah, that's
Come
good
on,
stuff.
man.
That's good stuff.
Come on. You and I got to love it. I know every once in a while you'll roll out something.
Oh, yeah.
Greg Wrubell ceases to surprise because he loves those things.
Yeah.
And if you heard the Greg Wrubell story, as his predecessor was leaving the booth and he was taking the booth on that guy's way out, he was like, puns don't hit, so don't do them. Have you heard that story?
No.
And Greg's like, oh, well, that's kind of my thing. And he has knocked it out of the park.
Oh.
Greg, and I can't help, I almost turn into Ron Boone and go, I almost turn into Ron Boone when he does it. But he'll hit me with them. And I'm like.
And the delivery's so dry, too.
And I have to be on my toes because I got to keep pace. I'll give you one, for instance. When Will Ferrin knocked through the field goal to beat Utah in the rivalry game 2 years ago, he hit this perfect. Where there's a will, there is a way. A 44-yarder by Will Ferrin just nailed the call. And I said, and Greg, you would be fair in saying it. It just came perfectly together.
You one-upped him.
No.
You one-upped him. You one-upped him is what you did.
No.
Yeah, you did.
No, where there's a will, there's a way.
I know. And then you're like, okay, I can't let him get away with that. I got to get on top of that.
I have never seen the one-up.
That's not.
That's one-up.
I'm playing second fiddle.
No. That's you being like, oh, you want to go? All right, let's go.
Truthfully, you probably had the better one, so you one-upped him.
Yeah. No, yours was better.
That's not true, man. Because the way he delivered it, it was just money. But I'm like, oh.
Look, all's fair in love and war. It's fine.
I think that his call was money. I think I was a backseat, and that's great. I just wanted to make sure I'm keeping up with the Joneses of it.
You one-upped Greg?
No, I did not, dude. I did not. That is not true.
Hey, you know what? That's a little. Hey, Greg, he got you back for the Boise thing. that was for Boise right there.
Take that.
Oh man, he keeps me on my toes.
He's so good.
I like that call. The boots are made for walking.
Yes.
What did he say? Call up Sinatra.
Nancy Sinatra.
I thought he hit that, and obviously the Mammoth. Man, they hit that shot, and I'll tell you who's quickly becoming my favorite Mammoth player. That is Jack McBain.
Yes.
Jack McBain at 6'4", 6'5", 225 pounds from Toronto. He is a regulator. He is a hard hitter. He's that big, scary body that'll just stand right in the slot and pound you and cause distraction and damage. And I think he got one of the 6 last night. He is just the money man.
Well, anybody, look, my guy here, one of the nicest human beings on the planet. But if somebody wrongs you, you remember.
Yeah.
You got an elephant mind on that.
Do.
And
it's a problem.
And here's Jack McBain, saw Logan Cooley get hurt back in November. He's like, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait. I'm going to take my time. But when I get my shot, you and me are going. And I got to imagine that guy's like getting ready for that Mammoth game. He's like, oh, McBain's going to want to fight. It's like, I don't want – Coach, I'm not feeling – get out there. I'm like, no, he's going to want to fight right out of the gate.
Put Stevens out there.
Like, can we get somebody else? Like
line 2, roll.
I'm
not in line 2, Coach.
I don't really want to fight right out of the gate. Well, guess what? You got to. And McBain waited and waited and waited, and when he got his chance, justice was served. And I knew that would resonate
but I
well
hope you
with
leave enough room for my fist because I'm going to ram it into your stomach.
That's McBain's speech just before he takes the S. So I've had the opportunity to be pretty darn close to one of McBain's brawls.
Yeah.
And so there's a couple things about McBain that I've noticed. He talks to himself. And there's always something strange. There's only one other guy that I've ever seen in the world of football that talked to himself. And I happen to know that he was on regulating medication. And there was rumors that if he's off his medication, then just stay away.
Stay clear.
Yeah. He was an absolute psycho. And you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And McBain talks to himself. And I don't know if he knows it. I don't know if he realizes it, but I've watched him. And he'll skate around slowly in timeouts, and he's saying things, and you're like, oh, okay, that guy's a little bit different. And he shows that difference on the ice. You know who leads the team in penalty minutes?
Yeah.
It's Jack McBain, and it's by 15.
Yeah, that's probably a good sign there.
Yeah, he's spent a lot of time in the box, and that's exactly what you want from your leader. Spicy Tuna, going back a few years ago.
Yeah, he used to lead.
He was the leader, and he's down the list behind Hayton. But you got to love this team, and I love the fight in this team. And right now they are showing, and this is a great – we've talked about this. We've talked about home ice. We've talked about how important it was for them to get back to the Delta Center and how it was just impossible because the schedule didn't allow them to do that. But we are now watching them dominate home ice. And here's the really good news, Scotty. The really good news is they've got 3 games left in this nice streak at home. Then they go on this little road trip, this 4-game roadie, and then they come back, and they've got another 6-game homestand.
Yeah, that schedule evens
to finish out January.
Nice.
So they're going to stuff to finish out January. They're stuffing 8 home games to finish out January. And then they've got 1 home game in that 6-game stand to start February. So from now to February 1st, they've got 9 home games.
How many?
9 times. Okay, hold on. Do you know that reference? 9 times. I'm pointing at our tech, who's
23? How old are you?
25.
Yeah.
9 times.
How about this?
Dave?
I don't remember him
Dave
being.
got it.
I don't remember him being sick 9 times.
Okay, how about this?
9 times.
9 times.
I wouldn't throw anybody with that bad back. Come on, hey Scotty,
At least Dave's giggling over here.
Keep throwing lines.
You could take a lump of coal and put it right up there, and in a month you'd have a diamond. What's the movie? Arzier doesn't know.
Man, Arzier doesn't know.
You need to do some homework, and when you get the car out of impound, you go watch Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Speaking of the car out of impound,
yeah,
Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Exactly. It might hit a little too close to home right now.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
Arzier is a little distracted today.
Hans and Scotty coming up next. Whole World News right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Go! It's time to span the globe for the hard-hitting news you care about. Well, not really. But hey, at least we found it interesting. This is Whole World News on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
We've got the whole world in our hands.
You got the whole
Hans Olsen, Scott Gerard, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Time for another edition of Whole World News. Hans, I'm curious to know if this is something that would have interested you back in the day, because you and I, like, if you went to college and you were a sports fan in the mid to late 90s, chances are you'd come home off of, a party or something like that, and you'd fire up ESPN and you'd watch the World Strongman competition.
Oh.
Some of that stuff that would just run overnights. Magnuson.
2 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
Scotty, I watched more of that than I could even tell you.
Well, you'll like this, because there's this strongman competition going on. It's called Boulder Over the Shoulder.
Seen it.
The rock, the boulder, weighs anywhere from 475 to 525 pounds. Mm-hmm. And you got to watch. I mean, if you've seen it.
I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen some cuts.
Look at this dude's head.
Yeah, he looks like a Shar-Pei. Is that the guy?
Yeah, well, there's multiple guys here. This guy can't get it done.
Okay, but by the way, when you watch this, you immediately think of AI. Have you made sure that's not AI?
It's not AI. Nope.
Because his head is so weird.
And then you got this guy. He can't even get it off the ground, period. And these dudes look like they are incredibly strong. This guy, he's got a pretty good shot, gets it up, but he can't get it over the shoulder. And the thing is, the rock has, different angles and things like that, so it's really hard to get a good look. This guy comes pretty close. He gets it on his lap, but he just can't get it to the shoulder.
That's Shaw. He's one of the famous big men.
But he fails.
Wow, so Shaw couldn't even get it.
And then here comes Matisse, and watch this dude. Just boom. Mateus, yeah.
Holy.
And looks around at the guys like, that's all you got?
And just holds it on his shoulder.
Puts it right on his shoulder.
400-pound stone.
Almost 500 pounds.
Shar-Pei, man, it threw me off, because when I saw Shar-Pei, man, I thought that's AI, so I didn't finish the video.
Oh, yeah?
So I didn't even see that. Mateus step up and be able to do that. But have you watched Brian Shaw? Do you know much about Brian Shaw?
No clue.
So Shaw was the one just before Mateus. And that man's story and his records and his strength is legendary. Has your son got into these things yet? Because this is all rock stuff. Rock hits me up all the time with these things.
No, I should. If he found out about it, he would be. Absolutely. I kind of limit the old social media with that cat.
But these kids nowadays, they love the strongman competitions, and Rock he watch their documentaries and watch what they're eating, and because he'd sit at the table, he's like, anyways, I got a force feed. I'm like, what's force feed? Well, you force feed. I'm like, where did you get that term? And it's off these strongman things. So
because they just work down so many calories.
Brody's going to come home with some strongman terms, and you'll be like, Brody, stop it. I've got the bolt pull today. What are you even talking about? Bolt pull. Back in the day, though, like the old strongman competitions, where they would have two refrigerators welded onto an iron bar, and they would pick up these two refrigerators and have to go 50 yards with it. I still, to these days, I can go back, I can watch those reruns.
Oh, absolutely.
I consider myself a very strong person, and I maxed the highest max on bench was 525. I dabbled into the 700s in squat. I wasn't the biggest squatter, but I was still in the 700s in squat. I considered myself an extraordinarily strong human being. And then you watch these strong men putting a near 500-pound stone on your shoulder. That's just – I'm going to go research Mateus. I want to know more about him.
I guarantee Tyler knows about – you watched a lot of World Strongman competitions back in the day. Late night ESPN.
Yeah, that's all it was on.
Yeah, exactly.
Magnus Ver Magnuson.
Yeah.
Well, and by the way, when you're watching these guys, you're like, oh, my ancestors were on the same ships as these guys' ancestors. Like, they look a lot like me, and they are absolute freaks like I am. And
monsters.
ugly.
Oh,
like
yeah,
me.
yeah, these are ugly dudes, man.
They're ugly guys.
No, we look like Brad Pitt compared to these guys. All right, 97.5, the EKSL Sports Zone.
Looking for the latest on the Jazz, Utes, Cougars, and Aggies? Yeah, we've got you covered. This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G on 97.5, the Sports Zone.
Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Remember, coming up tomorrow, we'll be hanging out with Tim and the crew at RGS. Make sure to stop by. Remember, RGS, whether it's rain gutters or complete overhaul to the exterior of your home, you are good to go. It's Tim and the crew at RGS. All right, joining us now. Now, look, this is a man who is one of my favorite people on the planet.
Oh, yeah.
He's such a good dude. He treats us so well. He's forgotten more about football than most people will ever know. He's just a good human being. It's Will Snowden. Hi, Will.
What a day.
Yet he's the second best Snowden in the room currently.
See, that's so people, sometimes hands come at me and say, why are you so aggressive towards Olsen? He seems like a good guy. And then these type of things happen to prove me 100% right. See, this is why I spend most of my time with Scotty. That's why my respect is so much higher for Scotty. But at the end of the day, I'm happy to be here with everyone. It's a great show and can't wait to chop it up.
Hey, I want to know how many former teammates call you after coming on and say, so you do radio with Hans. Why?
It's more.
Is there a few?
It's more than I would like to get into, but at the end of the day, you're still very strong and a violent man.
Yes,
So most of us have grown up. The guys that we play with have grown up, and you are still grabbing people, throwing them to the ground,
breaking ribs.
Well, see, I'll tell you that comes with a problem because none of them have ever said to my face, "I don't like you." But I got to imagine after the interview, Tim McTire calls and is like, he's a clown.
Hans, the guys don't like you.
He's a dope. Have you heard this story?
Which one?
Gordon Monson called me once, and I picked up the phone. I'm like, what's up, Gordon? And this is how he answered, because there was some trouble brewing at the station. He said, Hans, the guys at the station don't like you.
And you said
it wasn't quite like that. But.
It was exactly like that. And I said, well, Gordon, let's have it out, man. What's the problem? They don't like you.
He's like, how much time do you have?
Hey, speaking of Tim McTire, he jumps in the market. He comes back to Utah. It's just a matter of time. This guy, he goes and wins a state championship with Orem, right?
Year one.
In year one, he goes and wins a state championship in Orem. And I know it took him a while to work his way back into coaching, but he's up and coming, isn't he?
Well, he is. Tim had been coaching quite a while. He had coached he was at Grambling, I think. So he was at that league, and then he was a head coach in California, kind of doing a lot of different things. But it's great to have him in the state. I know the boys at Orem love him. And Hans, actually, one person does love you who's listening. It's Jason Walker. Just sent me a text, and he said, I do like Hans, and he didn't say he loved you. He said he liked you. He didn't want to go too far.
Okay,
but he does like you.
But that's because I've bought 3 boats from him, and I paid full price.
Yeah, he knows how to do it.
Yeah. But here's the classic. Have I told you the Jason Walker story, Scotty?
No.
And Will, you probably know this or remember this. Who was our safeties coach? Barry Lamb.
Barry Lamb, yeah.
Okay. This was my introduction to BYU football. And I know Jason will remember this story. I'm on the sideline. It's the first week of practice. It's the first week of pads. I'm this idiot kid from Weezer, and I think I'm tougher than everybody. And I'm standing on the sideline, waiting for the coaches to put me in. And off the field is running this dude. He's built like a horse from the safety position, and he's holding his pinky up. And the tip of his pinky is a complete blood blister. He had just smashed it between 2 helmets. And he runs over to Coach Lamb, and he's like, Coach, this is not good. And I'm not even exaggerating. Coach Lamb grabs his hand, puts the finger in his tooth, bites open the blood blister, blood squirts across.
No, this is not true.
If Facts. Jason needs to call in and verify that, blood squirts across Barry Lamb's face. Jason is watching his finger in Barry's teeth. pulls his finger back and was like, looks at it, and the top of the finger is kind of pulled back. And he's like, all right, and runs back onto the field. And I was like, oh, okay, welcome to college football. Here we go.
Yeah, a little bit different. And Barry, at that time when we were at Brigham, and that defensive staff, they didn't mess around much. The only one that really Ramage had a little bit of sense, who coached you. He wasn't as mean as some of them, but he was an old, angry guy.
Yeah.
But Barry Lamb, that was a frightening man, and he coached hard. Him and Schmidt, those guys were serious football men, and they didn't have time for anything soft.
Yeah.
Soft was not going to go far with them, and I had to learn it the hard way too. A lot of hard lessons learned as you get to college football, and you're looking and you really think you want the smoke, and then you realize that you're not really a fireman. You're still a pup, and you jump in there. You're running to the right, you're running to the left, you're running everywhere but where you're supposed to be running. And when you're dealing with someone like Hans Olsen, not only running the wrong direction, you're actually talking too, which makes it worse. So you're talking in the wrong direction, you're running in the wrong direction, but we could see that you had the talent, but you decided to pull it back a little bit, Hans.
It took a while. Hey, speaking of the defensive backfield, first of all, is Demario Warren the right guy?
Without a doubt.
And second of all, just speaking of our old coaches and tough guys, do you think that they've called Brian Mitchell?
I don't know if they called Brian. I mean, Brian is, he's been out for a while. I talk to Brian all the time. He recruits. He's been, obviously, Smith was just in the portal, and some of my other guys were in the portal. And so I talked with him quite a bit, and he didn't bring up that they went after him. I think the reality is they knew who they wanted. They definitely wanted Demario. He's one of the better young coaches in the country. He has a lot of experience. He was successful at Southern Utah for a while, and that's not the easiest program to be successful at. And then he's done great things with Boise. Won a lot of games. Took them was a big part of them going to the playoff last year with what he's able to do with the back end. If you watch what his back end did this year at Boise, it's high level play. So
was he there with Popinga before Popinga?
Popinga, yes.
Oh.
So you have that connection.
Okay,
yes.
so they were together in Boise.
And he lived in Utah a long time, so it made a lot of sense. I was also hoping that they would look at Brandon Bradley. Brandon Bradley, who played at BYU, he's in the recruiting department right now. He's an exceptional DB guy. He was training a lot of guys here in the state with my son, Dre. I have a lot of respect for Brandon. He does a great job at what he does. So I was hoping they would look at him too. And that safety spot has not been announced yet, who the safety coach is going to be. Maybe they'll stay inside and go after Brandon Bradley, who has the ability to do that as well. But as far as Demario, it's a home run. It's actually you couldn't get any better. Losing Gennaro Guilford is devastating because he played there, understands it, is such an exceptional recruiter and developer of talent. But he's able to create relationships with players that really do last a lifetime. But I do believe that Demario will do the same exact thing. But whenever you lose Gennaro, it's a big loss. That's probably the hardest loss that BYU has had, losing Guilford, just because of his experience with the program, 10 years plus. And he's had a lot of success with his DBs. He really has. Multiple guys in the NFL. Looks like the guys that he had brought in that have been playing have played at a very high level. Excuse me. So I expect them to move forward well on the back end play. Interesting to see how Popinga can carry. Coordinates the defense, how much is going to stay the same. I do think for you'll see a lot of new fronts that will be interesting to you, Hans, as a trench guy. Like I spend a lot of time trying to understand everything about the game.
Oh, yeah.
I love the trench.
Jay and Gary's tweaked fronts were
ridiculous.
Yeah, they're ridiculous.
I mean, it's ridiculous what they do. And so Popinga is the person that everyone needs to have a magnifying glass on. That's the reality of it. Can he, it's kind of tough to step in after, Jay Hill. It's like someone just like the gentleman down at Utah coming in after Morgan Scalley is not easy.
But, I'm going to tell you the truth on this.
Say it.
I have not coached college football. If I got a call from BYU and they said, Hans, come be our defensive coordinator, I would sign up for free because I've got Gary Anderson right there next to me. And I know, I don't know a lot, but this guy knows everything. And if I can just be his puppet, I'll be his puppet.
Without a doubt. And one of the things, Hans, I'm glad you brought that up. A lot of people forget who Gary Anderson is in this whole scheme of Utah defense. When I say Utah defense, I mean the state of Utah. I mean the University of Utah. I mean Brigham Young. Everywhere he's been, Utah State. Yep. Gary Anderson is one of the more respected coaches in the world, and there's not a better brain in the business. So Papinga, if he's smart, he's going to listen to Gary and listen closely, watch Gary, because you're literally learning from a legend, someone who's been a big part of who Kyle Whittingham is, who all of these guys are, who Kalani Sitake is. All of it comes a big player in this is Gary Anderson. So BYU is going to be good. Utah is going to be exceptional. All of these programs are just going to keep on moving. Obviously, I'm excited to talk about all of this movement and what it means for the state. We've been on my wife and I and Smith have been kind of on a world tour the last week. We were
can't even imagine.
Yeah, I mean places, being at Notre Dame, being at Michigan, being at BYU, being at Oregon, being at Colorado. We were supposed to be at Ohio State. We were supposed to be at Georgia. Could have been at Florida, Ole Miss. You learn a lot and learn a lot about the business.
Can you tell people what it's like to be the parents of the number one cover corner that's in the portal? What's that journey like?
It's quite stressful, to be honest. I mean, for me, being a football guy, this is what I do, Hans. This is what I do. So I talk football all day, every day. I watch film all day, every day, and I chase coaches all day, every day. It's you see how gray I am and how gray you're not. Yeah. I know it's affecting my life because I'm obsessed with it, but more importantly, I care about the kids. I want them to accomplish the goals that they have. And there's so many people in this world who try and tear you down, right? So these kids are dealing with so much, right? Because of social media, people just get on social media and start tearing down kids. And it's like, dude, you've never even touched a field at this level, right? Because I played at a major level, and I'm not even close to the level that these guys are at, right?
Specifically Smith.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny. You hear a lot of people like, he sucks, and it's like, no, dude, he's an all-conference player, and he can go anywhere in the world. He can go play anywhere in the world, including the NFL this year, right, as a junior. He can come out, and most people have his grade at 3rd to 4th round, and that's without testing. So it's hard for these kids to consistently – have people tweeting at you and with the ability to say it directly to you. And it's silly and it makes no sense. And so you do have to prepare your kid for that because there's so much drama that comes with a move, but people don't understand the business. They have no idea what's going on. So one thing I will do is set the record straight. Smith was never getting in the portal to go to Michigan. He did not know the situation with Kyle Whittingham at all. He was going into the portal. Kyle Whittingham knew he was going in the portal. Robert Bleck and the GM, everyone knew he was going in the portal. So he wasn't just getting in the portal to go to Michigan. There were some things he needed to see. This is a business, and that's what he was doing. I mean, he's worked hard. He gave everything he could to the University of Utah. Loves the University of Utah. He will be a Ute no matter what, for life, right? He actually put his blood on the field. He's played hurt. He did everything that you would ask your player to do, but he made a decision to move on and test the waters. And this was a very hard decision for Smith. It's tough to be, everyone wants to be a top guy until you are a top guy, and you have to make big boy decisions that are hard to make. And you have a mom who loves you, who's concerned about certain things, a father that loves you, and a father who's working with other kids that he has that are priorities to him as well. So we traveled a lot, but it was great. But back to the state of Utah football, what a time. I mean, I feel like Morgan has done an exceptional job taking over when a coach leaves. This is what happens, right? You take your coaches with you that you have raised up, and then players, you have to understand, every player that has left the University of Utah, who did they sign to play for? Kyle Whittingham. So that's who they signed to play for, Kyle Whittingham, and now Kyle went a different place, and they're going to test some markets to see if there's interest. But it's just funny. I mean, people just not understanding how the business works. Most of these college athletes now have an agent, right? So if you look at the J.J. Buchanan transfer, the day before he transferred, he had a big announcement. Do either one of you know
Drew Rosenhaus.
Do people know who Drew Rosenhaus is in this business?
We certainly do.
Okay, Drew Rosenhaus is the biggest agent in the country.
Yes.
His job
the biggest NFL agent.
NFL
not
agent.
college.
Yeah,
not
college. Biggest NFL agent.
Yeah.
He's a major dude, and all of his guys are top dollar earners, right? He only signs the best of the best of the best. So when someone signs with Drew Rosenhaus, now you're going to realize that there's going to be a whole lot of opportunities, a host of opportunities that come financially for your player, and it's going to be a national deal. And then the next day I see he makes the announcement that he's going to go in the portal. Well, that makes sense because his agents probably said, hey, we're going to be able to get you more exposure or this or this or this, and it's something you have to look at. So that's how the business works of college football. I know it's not always fair, but what I do as a fan is I'm going to fan for my team. Regardless, I'm going to fan for my team, whether Johnny's playing there or rather Hans is playing there. I'm going to support my team, cheer my tail off, and love everything they're doing and love what we've got. I'm always going to be cheering for all the in-state teams, as you guys know. I guess people can – I'm not the greatest fan because I'm a fan of all these kids that I have and work with, and I know what it takes for all of these guys to get to this level. It's the hardest thing in the world to get to this level. And I was a D1 football player, and maybe I wouldn't be in today's game. So that's the reality.
You good hanging out with this next segment?
Yeah, I'll be here.
Okay. Will Snowden, father of Smith Snowden, joining us. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Number one. Miss any part of the show? Every moment of every show is available in podcast form by searching Hans and Scotty on your favorite podcasting platform or online at KSLSports.com. This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hans Olsen, Scott Gerard, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. This segment brought to you by U of U Health. Go to uofuhealth.org. Will Snowden, kind enough to hang out with us. All right, so in a nutshell, what's these last couple of weeks been like for you, your family, for Smith? I can't imagine the roller coaster it's been.
It's been a roller coaster for sure. Starting late in the season, probably in December, is when it already started kind of roller coastering for me and my wife. But before I even get into that story, I've got to say something really quick. Hans said this disgusting thing that he witnessed as a freshman at Brigham Young with a coach just sticking a man's finger in his mouth and biting it to and then blood going on his face and in his mouth. In today's day, that's very, very disgusting, and it's sad that we actually saw something like that and then continued on. So it's disgusting. But Jason Walker did confirm that's 100% accurate.
Yeah.
Do you realize? I mean, wow.
Yeah.
And dirty finger.
I mean,
that was 30 years ago. But I remember
a bloody, dirty
yesterday.
finger, and a guy just chomped the top off.
Oh, yeah.
Not even your own finger.
No.
Another man's finger.
Yeah.
That's full of blood.
Yeah.
And then just go on out and play. I'm still queasy from it, but this is what I'll say. It's disgusting, but it was very true. Back to how it's been the last couple of weeks. It's been it's crazy. You feel super blessed to be in the situation that Smith has put himself in, that our family has been a major part of helping him get to. But we were gone. I'll give you an example of how kind of what a week was like. The portal visits are a little bit different than a regular visit because you get there for a couple of days. Everything's not so slammed. This is what I would call a nightmare. So guys who are out there, you single guys who go to or single ladies that go to speed dating. You know, you've seen that before. You talk to the lady and then you move on and next. That's how it is at these events, these trips that you're trying to get everything in one day, right? So we flew Monday. We had an early flight. We were in Colorado meeting with Dion with Primetime, which was quite interesting to get a chance to hear his evaluation of Smith, what he sees, what he would want to do with him, and that was really, really, really awesome. We were there Monday to Tuesday, and then we were able to fly back and meet with Brigham Young for the rest of that day into the evening. Had an exceptional meeting with Kalani and that staff. as they're transitioning, making changes with the defense. Then that night, the middle of the night or early in the morning, we flew to Michigan. I think we had to leave at 3 o'clock in the morning to catch our flight. Got to Michigan, spent the day there, met with that staff, seen the facilities. Next day, which was Thursday, and at this point I had no idea whether I was coming or going. I mean, where we were. Thursday we flew to Notre Dame and spent the day and the night there with that staff. Flew home Friday, and then Friday evening caught a flight to Oregon. And Oregon was playing that night, so they played, they lost, and then we started at 8 o'clock in the morning with that staff. They were going on literally no sleep because they flew home, got home at 4:30, 5 o'clock, and lost royally. It wasn't good. It wasn't good. But the professionalism of that staff, how they were prepared for us, was absolutely ridiculous, to be honest, how they were prepared. So they did a great job, spent the day there, and then was able to come back Sunday and slow down as other people, went to the dead period and other people still trying to get Smith to come out leaving tomorrow. And we're just like, no, we're good. And so we had a lot of family time, quiet time, prayer time to kind of identify what Smith wanted to do, what was the best option for him and position for him. And he made the decision with Michigan yesterday. And now it's let's get your kid all the way across the country. Smith's really still young. He's only 20 years old, so he's young. He's one of those smart kids who did well in school his whole life, worked hard at it. And we was a little bit nervous of if he'd be able to get into Michigan because he is a true junior. But because of some things that he's done academically, it worked out for him to be able to get in. So that was a blessing, and the rest is history. But probably a billion calls. I bet you. As far as just not, and it's not only just my son because the portal's going crazy. I have a lot of kids in it. I was probably on the phone maybe 12 to 14 hours a day.
Wow.
So, I mean, it literally is
not only with your kids, but with coaches.
With my kids, coaches, and all of that. It was really, really crazy. So it's exciting, but college football, as you guys all know, is a big business, but I'm extremely excited about the state of Utah football, the state of Utah. I think Utah State and Bronco are doing some really exciting things. I think they signed a big-time quarterback, and I think that you guys know how high I am on Hillstead. I think in a nice offense, it's going to be one of those offenses that was a little bit like the Texas State what's that Texas State, I think? Eric Morris was the head coach. He's now at Oklahoma State. Regardless, he's one of the better OC offensive minds in the country. You all know what Anai does. He likes to let it rip, and Hillstead can throw it with anyone in the country. So I expect that team to be really, really fun to watch. Obviously, Utah getting back their quarterbacks. I'll say quarterbacks with both of those guys coming back. That gives them a pretty bright future. And then you move on to BYU, and they really didn't lose anything major for as far as their starters. And you're bringing back Bear Bachmeier, who is arguably one of the best young quarterbacks in the country. You keep your staff pretty much together. I mean, offensively, defensively, you keep Papinga, who has tons of continuity. You keep the continuity of the team and the belief, and then whenever you have Kalani there, it's going to be great football. So I think the state really killed it. You lost players, but you're going to lose players every year. You lost a legendary coach. There's a lot of drama around that really is unnecessary, to be honest. It's quite silly when people if we would all stop and not be emotional and put ourselves in the shoes of Kyle Whittingham or put ourselves in the shoes of any of these players, or if people could do that in life in general, you'd be able to have a little bit more understanding of how this thing goes. Kyle Whittingham is a warrior for the state. He's the greatest coach we ever coached at the University of Utah. He won a lot of games, brought a lot of tradition and pride to it.
Did he have to take Batari Ferrari, though? That was
the Ferrari is crazy. But, I mean,
he took everybody from Elisaya to Batari Ferrari to I mean,
well, I don't know if he had to twist their arm too hard. So that's what we have to start identifying. Like, I don't think he had anyone at gunpoint to come work for him. And I think that players, all of these players that anyone that were winning the portal, these aren't just average dudes who don't have a lot of different options. And it's not like they all just only listened to Kyle Whittingham when they got into the portal. They listened to a lot of schools. But when you look at Michigan, there's a lot to offer, a lot of great tradition. And then when it's being led by a strong leader, it's quite hard to say no to.
It's exciting.
How hard is it, as a dad, and your wife is here as well, how hard is it to let him make that decision? I mean, you want to be there, you want to support and give advice, but ultimately it's his call. And how hard is it to say, okay, you know what, I'm going to get you to that point, but ultimately you're going to be the one that has to make the decision?
Yeah, it's really hard for me. Right, because when you look at our family history, it's been a lot of football, and it starts well before me with my father. Played for the then Redskins and back in the day. My brother, who was with the Broncos and the Toronto Argonauts, and myself, who played Division I football. His oldest brother, who's a big time DB trainer and played college football. His middle brother, who's his next older brother, who played college football. It's been our life, and then with me working in the field, I have ideas that I think that I'm trying to get him to listen to, and he does a good job because I do manage him. So it's this fine line of management and fathering, and so as a manager, as someone who's handling his business part, I have to step back and I kind of just manage him like I manage any of my players. I tell them my thoughts, I bring opportunities for them, and say this is what I think. But ultimately, it's your decision. I'm going to support it 100%. And we'll look at the numbers, the contracts, and everything else that comes with this. And, Smith's a smart kid. He's a prayerful kid. He's not going to just make any silly decision. His mom's done a great job with him. So it's been pretty simple. It's that simple.
So, Will, I know you do manage a lot of kids, and we had Mike Sanford, Coach Sanford, on with us earlier. And Coach Sanford was like, look, most high schoolers now, you may just benefit from D2 and getting the film. So as you're managing these kids, and it's just getting harder and harder to see high schoolers getting a D1 FBS offer. It's not happening.
It's not.
So as you're managing so much talent in the state with alpha recruits, what is your advice to these kids that are not getting D1 offers?
Yeah, so my advice is, number one, is just stop and think. Like, you need to stop and think. You have right now, I think there's over 10,000 players in the portal. I mean, the number was ridiculous.
That's what Mike said. He said 11,000.
Yeah. Last I checked, it was 10,830 or something. Mm-hmm. It's a lot, right? Now, as a college guy,
that's an insane number.
It's an insane number. So, as a college coach, in their defense, what would I rather have? A kid who's 17 years old, 18 years old, or a guy who redshirted, has been eating at a college for 3 year, lifting in a college for 3 years, practicing in a college for 3 years, or would I want a kid who won a state championship that at the 4A level? It doesn't even compare. So the reality is, what you want, these coaches want a finished product, and that's what they're looking for, is a finished product. And a lot of these college guys deliver that. They deliver the maturity. So I'm trying to get my kids to understand there's high-level football everywhere. Give you an example. I work with Micah Harper.
Yeah.
Micah Harper just was a freshman All-American at Brigham Young University. He bought a car from here. He bought a car from
Working
here.
with Tyler.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But he's a freshman All-American. Things don't go great at BYU. He had some injuries, some issues. We transfer him to Montana. Has a great season, one of the highest PFF players in the country this year. And now he's on his way to, I can give you an example. He's on his way to Duke this weekend. Arkansas this weekend, has multiple major D1 offers from one season at Montana. Now,
just shutting down everything.
And now he has to humble himself, because I'm a Brigham Young All-American. A lot of these kids and families alone don't want to understand that. You can still get there, but you have to take a detour. There's a lot of ways to get to your house. I can get to your house. I've been to your house. Yeah. I can go several different ways to get there. It might not be the fastest, but I can still get there, and that's what I'm trying to get kids to understand and families to understand. But with the lights, with those big bright lights, sometimes it's hard to just walk away. So I really suggest every single player, if I'm a freshman, if I'm going to be a freshman, I'm trying to go to a level that I can play right away. Because even if you go to an FBS school, if you aren't playing quickly, they're saying someone else is knocking who's already been playing.
Well, that was
that's the deal.
Of the 10,830 that are in the portal, how many are forced there?
A lot, probably 70%.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, about 70%, and that's another thing. And then us as fans, we're like, "This is malarkey. What's going?" Dude, you have no idea what's going on. They're telling you like it's not an opportunity for you here. We want to upgrade, and we're going to go in the portal and upgrade you. And good luck, son.
Yep. I mean,
it
works both ways.
It works majorly both ways.
Are they still, because early portal times they were still like, hey, we're asking you to go into the portal, but the option is you can't stay and finish your schooling here. We'll pay for your schooling.
Yes.
If you stay in and just don't play football.
But they do say that, Hans, like, listen, you'll never play for us ever. We don't really want you here at all. There's no option for you to – it's very easy to make someone feel very unwanted that you need to go somewhere else.
That's what Hans and I feel like on Tuesdays.
Tyler's looking at us like, I don't even know why they're here.
Like, get these guys out of here. Hey, we got to take a quick break. Come back. We'll wrap things up with Will Snowden. We're live here at Tim Daly Nissan Southtown. This is 97.5, the EKSL Sports Zone.